Hey, before we get into this episode, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and subscribe down below, man. My brother been out here giving y'all the sauce. I'm trying to get this YouTube channel up and running. Help a brother out by subscribing and sharing the video, if you'd be so kind. I'll give y'all a couple seconds to do that. Alright, now let's eat. Alright, y'all, welcome back to another one. Today's topic, how to get a woman to return to you. I'm talking about after the first date. This is something I touched on in an earlier episode, but I'm going to elaborate. And you know your boy got an acronym for you, so let's get into it. Alright, so the sex, and good sex at that. Yes, fellas, you heard that correctly. I'm talking about not only in the bedroom if you get lucky enough to reach the cheeks, but more importantly outside the bedroom where the engagement is much more important than the act. Let's call it sex before sex, or you know, my ass always has an acronym, Safe-Emotional-Xperiences. Alright, let's kick this off with being safe. This means as a man, you're the protector at any given moment. If shit goes left, you're the one she's going to be turning to, whether you know her or not. It's an innate ability for us to protect women, children, and someone who's not able-bodied, for example, the elderly. By default, this is a role we have to adhere to, or we will be ridiculed if we appear milquetoast. Now, for a woman, safety also comes in the form of trusting you. This means if you set up a date, make sure the setting is in public or somewhere where she feels comfortable enough for you to take the lead. Fellas, if you don't exude the leadership position off rip, she'll know. Women have this impeccable intuition that they can tell if you're a fraud or not. Plan the date, make it fun, engaging, and assume the role as a man. Alright, man, and if you're trying to clap cheeks with this young lady on the first date, you best believe your ass better have a condom, dog. None of this withdrawal method. I'm telling you, if you slip up, it can cost you. And this isn't new, y'all know this. Remember, if you have to set an example from the jump, if she sees you're safe and considerate to your health and hers, I promise you she'll respect you more. Tell me I'm lying. I mean, she may not always like the condom, but shit, who does? But at least you're making an effort by being prepared just in case. Alright, fellas, emotions. This is the big one. I would argue this is the most important one from the acronym. Tapping into a woman's emotions is paramount when trying to get the cheeks. You have to make her feel good enough to where she wants to spend time with you. But of course, she has to trust you first. That's why safe and comfortability precede emotion. Planning a date where you can talk shit, tease one another, and showing a fun side of you is a sure way to engage a woman's emotion in a positive manner. Make her feel special in the way that you are a pleasure to be around. Be a good conversationalist. Wow her with little facts here and there. Hell, you know what? I tell y'all to go to the gym, right? She'll notice the gains if you take care of yourself. That's an easy nonverbal emotional response right there. Tell me that's not a dub. You come in with your biceps all out, shoulders looking like boulders, women will notice that, and they gush. Next up, communicate well. Talk that talk, fellas. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a date and a woman has given me a shout out for being a good conversationalist. Now, this doesn't mean you talk her ear off. It honestly means you're listening and allowing both of you to present your authentic selves while simultaneously contributing to the conversation in different forms, such as, I would say, jokes, teasing each other a bit. Notice how women always say, make me laugh, teach me something new, etc. They're actively telling you to engage their emotions and guide them into something they may not have experienced before. Women want you to lead them, dog, regardless of the contrary rhetoric that you heard. Also, fellas, if she's a delight to be around, express that. I'm enjoying this vibe, this interaction we have going on, I'm into it. No need to play coy. What I like to do is I like to give a little bit of a compliment most people don't give. While I'm grabbing her hand gently, I say something to the effect of, I like the way you have your nails short and painted, that's a nice touch. I never really was a fan of them gargoyle talents some women be wearing. Giving her a direct and specific compliment shows that you're paying attention, but at the same time not overly admiring her. Listen, women want their emotions to be understood, engaged, and at the very least acknowledged. Alright, so small touches and teasing. You gotta be careful with this one. This comes with a little bit of body language reading. If you guys are going to the bar, or if you're out walking toward your destination, place your hand on the small of her back or her waist and just guide her. I would even argue gently grabbing her hand and leading the way. Again, this puts you in a position of leadership, masculine energy, if you will, which should be presented at all times. Now, remember when I mentioned the compliment about her nails? This should be done by gently grabbing her hand and looking at her nails and delivering the compliment. So that way it's a flawless introduction to small touch without being creepy. Now on to teasing, or some people will call this negging. Playful banter doesn't have to be insulting, fellas. But a subtle roast here and there should be invoking a little laughter. Now keep in mind, if you're dating this person, they may be sensitive and you don't know that yet. This would be a good gauge indicator of, so I would keep note. All right, so experience. This is an opportunity for you to gain some bragging rights, because you know women talk. You know, when she's done with the first or second date, the first thing she's going to do is run to her friends and talk about how good of a time she had. Now with this, I would argue you need to be spontaneous. I'll talk in the first 5 dates episode to where you have to provide an experience for a woman. Introduce them into something they may not have done in a while. I mentioned a picnic, a brewery with some games. I would even go to the shooting range if you're into some guns. These are all dates that are engaging, that can display some touching and teasing, and show how much of a pleasure you are to be around, and vice versa. Having an experience outside of the bedroom is just as important, if not more important, when you're laying pipe. I have to do a separate video on that though. Play truth or dare, within reason of course. Have a thought-provoking conversation that will engage her intellect. Experience is what she's going to remember you by. Something that she's going to brag to her friends about, like I mentioned before. Tap her emotions with your mouthpiece. And with this experience, I need you to be yourself. I talked about this in the 4 pillars of man, as well as the maps to confidence, both of which mention being yourself but a better version. Listen, and I get it, if you aren't ready to date because you're in the hyperbolic time chamber and you want to come out twice as good as you are, I'm not mad at you, go ahead. But if you are out dating and you have improved yourself, just be that. There's no better representation you can produce than being your authentic self. Either she's going to like you or she won't. Again, being confident comes down to enjoying your own company and doing what works for you in any given circumstance, not really worrying about the perception of others. When you're on a date, laugh as if you were by yourself. Tell those corny jokes you think are hilarious. She has to experience you just the same as you have to do her, and it should be without any convolution. If all goes well in the end, I would reach out and set up another idea for a date. And if it doesn't, you have to be willing to walk away, my guy. I mean, come on, let's not make these fake extensions about how you want to see her again just to get the cheeks. That's weak, bro. Don't go there. If the overall experience is cordial and respectful and the compatibility is there, go ahead and move forward. If not, then just release her. Release her and remove yourself and keep it moving, man. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and wrap this up. The conclusion, we talked about the sex before the sex. We all want to get in the sack with a woman and give her the business. But before we can arrive to that point, we have to have a safe emotional experience outside the bedroom first. These are the first steps to getting the woman to return to you and potentially getting both of you lucky. Now, this doesn't have to apply to just dating. Use this acronym and these steps when you're with your longtime partner or your wife. Not only will they be impressed, but I say it's a way to keep the relationship sexy. Comment down below y'all experiences with going on dates and keeping the woman interested and around. What's worked for y'all? It's been real. Catch y'all for the next one.